stick with my bro. Willing to dig it, yes or no? Here we go on with the show, the Hear Me Out Bro Podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 24 of the Hear Me Out Bro Podcast. If you'd like to listen along to our episode, you can find all our playlists at HMOBP on YouTube. If you have any feedback for us, questions, comments, critiques, show ideas, you can email us at hearmeoutbropodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to follow us on Facebook, our group there is the H-Mob, the H-Mob. So if you want to be part of the H-Mob and follow us on Facebook, get all the heads up on episodes drop in and any links that we mention in the show, we'll throw up there. You can join us there on Facebook. My name's Eric. I'd like to welcome my brother Clark.
Howdy, howdy.
Do you have anything from last week? Any carryovers or anything?
I've had No Guts, No Glory and the Spiral Zone theme like stuck in my head last week.
Nice.
Like it just randomly, my brain will be like, Earth's most powerful soldiers. Last chance to fight the Spiral Zone.
Yeah, I started noticing cartoons a lot more after last week's episode.
Yeah.
You know, like how you don't think about things for a while, but then like once you start talking about something, like you just notice more of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I have a correction from last week's episode.
Oh.
The instrument that Peter Jones was playing is called the melodica.
Melodica. Nice.
Yeah. So it's not the harmonium, it's the melodica.
It did make sense. The harmonium, because the harmonium is like a keyboard operated wind powered instrument.
Yeah, it's kind of like a miniature pump organ kind of thing or something. Yeah.
Which I only know, speaking of 2 weeks ago, TV shows, the show Silo features a harmonium.
Oh.
Not used as a harmonium. Or repurposed as something else, as is one of the themes of the show, is repurposing.
Yeah, I'm too cheap for Apple TV.
I hear you, but it's a good show.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
If it's ever anywhere else. Apple TV seems to be doing the best sci-fi out there these days.
Ah, cool.
The best sci-fi that's not owned by the mouse. Star Wars.
The mouse does have some good sci-fi.
Yeah. And some really terrible sci-fi.
Yeah, true. Not as bad as the Sci-Fi Channel itself, though.
True.
Okay, this week we're continuing with our Tinseltown Tune Time. This week we are covering fictitious bands, TV, movie, just out there in the public radar, bands that are kind of bands, but not really bands, just kind of put together in a fictitious manner.
Mm-hmm.
So last week you gave the Monkees kind of as like a prime example of a fictitious band that may or may not become a real band down the road. But yeah.
Some of these on the playlist are kind of the opposite of the Monkees. Like the Monkees famously, you know, weren't actual musicians, and then like I guess they eventually ended up being
they
able to...
kind of were, but
yeah,
I think the producers kind of wanted a sure thing,
right?
So they went with like the Wrecking Crew, and a lot of bands did that, you know, like the Association, like a lot of the bands in Southern California, when they came time to go do their record, they'd get all the studio people out,
right?
So record companies weren't willing to risk it.
Right. Whereas these bands, or well, some of these bands, it's like, well, these are actually like decent musicians, but they're playing like kind of joke comedic bands.
Some of them, not all of them.
Yeah.
But what they are is, it's like you come up with the idea for the band first, as part of some other thing besides a music group.
Okay.
And then put it together. So
Okay.
you have the idea for the band, and then it like comes together, and its vehicle isn't necessarily albums or Spotify or whatnot. It's for a TV show or a movie, is written into a script beforehand,
right?
Kind of thing.
Okay, that explains one of the groups I saw on the playlist. But I was like, "Wait, those guys are a real band. I saw them live." And it's like, oh well, yeah, okay, they were created for the TV show, and then they took on tour. All right, fair. All right,
yeah, just like how any book or novel is a work of fiction for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just it kind of starts out and in the creative mind as this concept.
Got it.
And I know people do that with real bands too, but these started out kind of at the writer's table before they started out sweating it out in the rehearsal space.
Right. Because like one of my favorite bands of all time, The Sword, like was kind of a concept band. The like rhythm guitar player and songwriter and singer dude like had the idea for the band. Like, hey, I want to play this kind of like doomy, heavy.
Yeah, just the concept.
Yeah, he had the concept for the band and was like, then got a whole bunch of like his friends and musicians that he knew to be in the band.
But he wasn't like a writer on Saturday Night Live.
Right.
He didn't create names for the band members.
Yes.
Okay, you're going to play this character.
Although there is some of that too, because I mean,
there's some of that in some bands
would
too?
Would Ghost fall into that? I mean, they're right on the cusp because like they are a real band, and like the band is like the main vehicle, but there is all like the like make 'em ups, like fictitious lore behind the band. Like
right, but in the bigger picture of the Hear Me Out Bro podcast, the bigger picture is that this is like our kind of TV movie entertainment kind of month. Yeah, I think we would just cover them as being a real band or like an artist who has those things, but it's not like they're making like a mockumentary or a
kind of.
Well, I guess they kind of do that too.
Yeah.
Well, they make videos, but they make videos to be. Oh man, you're really muddying the waters here,
right?
Yeah.
Because like they just had that movie come out, like about their tour, and like it was kind of a fictitious, like, it's like a scripted.
But first
reality.
And foremost, they're a band, or like a guy's creative vision. Like how White Zombie is Rob Zombie's kind of creative outlet, or yeah.
Well, that's why what I was saying is that like the band and the music is like the main vehicle for enjoyment of the concept. Whereas it's like it's not a band that's like written into a show. It's like show lore, periphery stuff that like enhances the band and the music itself, as opposed to the other way around. Does that make sense?
Okay. How about this, where the band being featured is not the day job, but the portrayal of them being in the band is their day job. So their day job is they're an actor or a comedian or something else, or they may be a musician, but they're getting paid as the musician. They're not getting paid for the music. That's not the day job. They're getting paid to be an actor, or they're getting paid to do something else. And the music is like ancillary to that. I don't know. if you have your own ideas about what makes a band fictitious or not,
Right.
then shoot us an email. But these were my picks. So
Yeah, I mean, we're never going to see Spinal Tap open for Iron Maiden, but I saw Ghost open for Iron Maiden. But we might someday see
and never say
Iron
never.
Maiden open for Spinal Tap, because I
Yeah,
mean,
never say never.
Who's the bigger band?
Yeah.
Clearly, Spinal Tap.
Okay. So, speaking of Spinal Tap,
Yes.
to kick off the list, I have a quad of fictitious bands featuring Michael McKean. So the first one is Spinal Tap with Gimme Some Money.
So good.
Yeah.
I mean, musically, like, it sounds like what it's making fun of. Like, you could hear that on the radio, and like, if you didn't know, you wouldn't know.
Yeah, I like how in the movie they started out like showing their past too.
Yeah,
Just
totally.
so cool.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, he nails that kind of like punk, whiny, nasal voice. Like, not punk rock punk, but like, you know, that kind of bratty.
Yeah, like this garage band 60s kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like Christopher Guest, like that guitar solo.
Oh man, yeah,
It's so good. And then
he almost doesn't even look like the same guy, you know.
I know.
Oh man, they did such a good job on that movie.
Smiley and stuff. And then it's like freaking Ed Begley Jr. Like, it's like this straight man drummer.
He has the honor of being the first Spinal Tap drummer to demise.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, and I wanted to kick it off with this one because, I mean, you know, Spinal Tap kind of like pioneered the whole mockumentary fictitious band thing.
Oh, for sure.
Or, you know, revitalized it.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, they weren't the first, but they're like probably arguably the most famous.
Right. And I don't have the Monkees on here. The Monkees were probably created like in a boardroom or a meeting of producers.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you enjoyed our producers segments from last week, but Spinal Tap, I think, was created by the guys in the band, you know, or the comedians that created it.
Right.
So they put a little more care and stuff into it.
Yeah, it was more like musicians making fun of musicians.
Right.
TV
or just
writers.
Rock and roll in general.
Right.
The whole music industry taking itself too seriously.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it's like that's the perfect pick for representing Spinal Tap, because it's like, you know, Stonehenge and Big Bottoms, like they're hellhole. Like, you know, when Spinal Tap became Spinal Tap, like it's good, but it's like it's a little too silly. Whereas like that early, like 60s garage rock, Gimme Some Money, it's just like, oh man, it's so perfect.
Yeah, and in keeping with the Hear Me Out Bro podcast, you know, like we like to dig deeper and like have the deep cuts or like find the story behind the story and kind of thing. So, and I just like that song too. Like, well,
I think
that was one of the parts I laughed the hardest at.
I think what you're trying to say is that we here at the Hear Me Out Bro podcast like to listen to what the flower people say.
Yes, we do. We're avid listeners.
That was my favorite part of that movie.
Yeah, that's like a good one too.
Like, oh yeah, that kind of like
listen.
Yeah. You know, like the Gimme Some Money era, like, oh yeah, like the Kinks or Beatlesy kind of stuff, British Invasion kind of stuff, and then like, you know, all the American like garage rock, surf guitar kind of stuff, kind of fits in that. And then it's like, oh yeah,
Beau Brummels or the Turtles or
yeah, totally.
Herman's Hermits or
Yeah. And then it's like that gear change. So this psychedelic, it's just like chef kiss.
Yeah. A lot of bands did kind of go psychedelic,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and some of those are good. Some of them are just really bad.
Oh yeah,
You know, like trying to get hip with the thing. You know, like I won't name any names.
Yeah,
But like, not a lot of those bands turned into metal bands.
no,
Very few of them. It's just cool.
totally.
But you know, like a lot of the bands that we love, the hard rock and heavy metal bands, you know, they did start out doing like skiffle or,
Oh, totally.
you know, playing the garage type stuff. Yeah. Also, by starting out with Spinal Tap and Michael McKean, we can tie them all together. So this next one is
Totally.
Lenny and the Squig Tones, Night After Night.
Oh man, so good.
Pretty funny.
His lyrics are hilarious.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if from him being on Laverne and Shirley as Lenny, and then they, you know, oh, you guys should do a song, and like maybe that, like, well, I can tie music in with my comedy.
Right.
I mean, other people have done comedy and music together,
totally.
but you know, it's like maybe that was where the seed was planted that Spinal Tap blossomed from.
Maybe, yeah.
Because Lenny and the Squig Tones, like, they did eventually like put out records and stuff.
They were on Casablanca with Case. They were label mates with Case.
And another one kind of in this similar vein that I didn't include on the list, but have some cool songs is the Blues Brothers.
Right. Oh,
and that's a great movie.
Totally.
But they're, I don't know. I guess I should have included them. And we'll have them as an honorable mention.
Mm.
And we had the Laverne and Shirley theme is one of my favorite TV theme shows.
Right. Yeah.
But
so good.
Yeah. So we'll keep moving on with Michael McKean. This next one is probably one of my favorite fictitious bands he's been in. And it's basically the same guys as Spinal Tap minus the drummer.
Right. Yeah, I would totally agree with that.
Yeah. So from A Mighty Wind, this is the Folksmen with Corn Wine.
Oh, man. oh man.
Nani before Ninny.
Yeah. That's all you need
You heard
to know.
it here. Yeah, it's all you need to know.
Oh, man.
I don't know how they filmed those, like, without their cheeks hurting and, like, having belly aches and cracking every time.
I don't know.
They tried to film something.
They must have. How would you edit that? Like, could you imagine being in the edit bay? It would take you longer than filming it. You just be right. Like, look where we paused the video at the end. Like, how would you? Like,
oh man!
If it was you and me in an editing bay, and it was like, okay, we have like the faux Caribbean song, which is like extra dorky because they're all white dudes, and then it's like, oh man, and then you cut it, and it's like you don't even have time to breathe. And it's like we would just be like on the floor rolling around, like
just relentless.
Yeah, I love that movie hilarious. So much.
Oh, me too.
And then it's like
all those Christopher Guest movies. Just Best in Show. They're so good.
Waiting for Guffman.
Yeah, Waiting for Guffman.
But like A Mighty Wind, like it's compounded with the fact that like some of the songs are actually kind of good. Like they're pretty
Yeah.
silly, but it's like some of those Folksman songs, it's like this is actually really kind of a nice song. like
Yeah.
it's
and
funny. And then it's like when they take it down, like, so is it Nanny-O? It's like, no, there's no nanny. Transcription error.
no before O. Nanny before ninny.
Yeah. But then it's like, it's actually kind of a cool song, like in its own right. Like it's silly.
Corn wine.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Like
they take what was silly about the real thing
Mhm.
and just like turn it up to 11
Right.
to like to paraphrase from
Mhm.
their playbook.
But like that duet that Catherine O'Hara and Eugene Levy sang, like it's actually
man.
pretty. And it's like,
yeah.
okay. Like
Oh man.
I want to laugh because it's like the two of them, and it's like I've been laughing at them since I was a tiny child. But like,
Oh man.
it's actually good for what it is.
I kind of want to do like a thrash metal cover of that working song, like when the aliens came.
Oh,
and
from Waiting for
Guffman.
Guffman? Yeah.
Yeah, when they're like at the factory. It's like working. Da-da,
Yeah.
da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Like that would be fun to put to like a thrash metal thing.
A chair is for fools.
Oh, man.
Everybody loves stools.
The stools. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Stool time.
Oh, man.
Oh, man. Yeah, those are the best.
And then, like, there's that other Folksman song that the, what's the, like, bubblegum band? Yeah, one of the other bands from that movie. Like, they do it.
Oh, okay.
And they do, like, a total, like, bubblegum version. And the Folksmen are like, oh, man, that was our song. But that song's actually cool. That like
they're supposed to be like the new Christy Minstrels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did have that one on the list, but Corn Wine is just so good.
It's totally
what was
yeah, my father was
like never did no wandering.
Yeah, never did no wandering.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Never did no wandering.
Yeah. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
Father was a railroad man. Like
my mother was the north wind or something like that.
Oh man. Yeah. So good.
Yeah, so great. Okay, this next Michael McKean one. So these are all, comedy in the comedy wheelhouse. This one was like a serious drama movie from the 80s. And like I was going to have it on here anyways because it features Joan Jett, and I wanted to do the nod too because of Michael J. Fox, because he did a few band things, like playing guitar and Back to the Future, of course, things like that. But this is a movie called The Light of Day what was it? Yeah, Light of Day with Joan Jett and Michael J. Fox playing sisters, or brother and sister. And I was going to put it in here anyways, but look at who the bass player is in this band. So this is the Barbusters with Light of Day.
Yeah, so they got the guy from Spinal Tap to be their bass player. That's a good get.
Yeah, the guitar player and singer to play bass.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually saw that movie in the theater with Jim Shoop.
Nice.
Yeah. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Like it's like a serious drama, and Joan Jett was great in it. Like she should have done more movies, maybe.
More acting.
Yeah, more acting. It was written and directed by Paul Schrader, who wrote Taxi Driver and Raging Bull.
Oh, wow.
And stuff like that. So, yeah.
Some chop.
Yeah. And then they got Lenny on bass. Yeah, I think they tried to... I think Michael J. Fox wanted to, like, lose the... like do something a little grittier or something.
Mm-hmm.
But he's still Michael J. Fox, and she's still Joan Jett,
Right.
So
I mean, they do look like they could be brother and sister. Like, that shag haircut doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
And you can tell.
I think that was like his first, like, serious, like, acting type role.
Yeah, after Family Ties. And you can tell it's not a comedy because if it was a comedy, it wouldn't just kind of look like their hair was getting bigger in every shot. Like their hair actually would get bigger, and like by the end they'd be wearing like big like drag queen wigs.
Yeah.
So it's just like, whoa. Did her hair get bigger? Did his hair get bigger?
Well, it gets a little bigger on stage from real life, I guess.
Well, yeah, but it's all teased up. But it was like even the on stage, like they'd cut to I think there were two different like playthroughs or whatever that were filmed of them on stage. And then like they'd show them like, clips from the movie, and like their hair wouldn't be all big. And then it would be like, oh, well, yeah, they're on stage. It's teased up. And then they'd be like, this is from like the second take of like the song. They've been under the hot lights a little longer, and like, the Aquanet started
sweaty room,
off gas,
lose a little volume,
or that like the opposite, like it got even bigger.
Yeah, get that static charge going. Yeah, but that movie's got to be out there somewhere.
Yes,
it's worth watching.
It's a good song.
I'd recommend it. Yeah, it's a catchy song. It's kind of rocking. There's another song down the list that's another Fictitious band, but like I actually like the song. And me and my friend Tristan would always talk about, that's a great song, but that's for later down the list. First, we need to get more comedy stuff out of the way.
Speaking of Tristan,
I did talk to him about the Dukes of Hazzard thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So the two Duke brothers were going to be, Bo Duke was going to be Mickey Rourke.
Nice.
And Luke Duke was going to be Clint Howard.
Oh, yeah. I think you mentioned Clint Howard. We talked about it before.
Yeah, but I couldn't remember who Bo Duke was, but it was going to be Mickey Rourke.
Nice.
Back before he had plastic surgery.
Yeah. Yikes. Don't do it. Just age gracefully, people. You look fine.
There's nothing wrong with being old.
Yep. Looking at you, Mr. Rogers. Not Mr. Rogers. Kenny Rogers. Mr. Rogers definitely aged gracefully. No, I brought it up because did you know Dukes of Hazzard was a reboot?
Like the TV show was a reboot?
Yes.
Was there like a Moonshine Runner movie or something?
Yeah. In fact, I think it was called Moonrunners.
Oh. Did it take place in Hazard County?
I don't remember it was Hazard County, but it was, their names were different, but like, it's pretty much the exact same thing, but they're like, oh yeah, they were moonshiners. Like Uncle Jesse was a moonshiner in the show. That's right.
Yeah.
But they're like explicitly moonshiners. And then like there's a boar's nest and like the whole thing. Like,
Oh, cool.
yeah.
I'll have to look that up.
Yeah.
Oh, also, Boss Hogg was going to be James Woods as Boss Hogg.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't want him to be like this fat comic old man. We want him to be like this, like scary, like real estate developer kind of guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
That would like cut your finger off with his cigar clipper.
Right.
Okay. Are we ready for more comedy?
Yep.
Okay. The next quattro is from SCTV, various made up bands from SCTV. So the first one is the Recess Monkeys with Gone So Long, which is a Chilliwack song. If you know your Canadian bands, we'll do a Canada episode down the road. But so this is a Chilliwack song, the Recess Monkeys.
So good. Man.
Speaking of Catherine O'Hara and Eugene Levy.
Yeah. Yeah. So these next four I've seen in like the last couple months. I did a pretty deep SCTV dive because it's all on it's all on their YouTube channel now. And
yeah.
I was looking up the Happy Wanderers and like it was like,
oh nice.
Oh man. I remember that. Of course I remember those guys. Oh, I forgot about that band. Oh dang.
Oh man.
That band.
So good.
Yeah. And like, dude, I always loved John Candy.
I miss John Candy so much.
So much. And it's like everybody on that show was hilarious. But then like, oh man, like John Candy is amazing. Like his Orson Welles.
Oh man.
It's really, really good.
You know,
like he sounds like him, he acts like him. And it's like growing up, I didn't really know because like, you know, I only associated him with like narrating like kids stuff. And then like, you know, the War of the Worlds broadcast. And then like later on, Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
And so like I never knew the like later fat drunk a-hole Orson Welles, which was like him recording all the kids stuff that I grew up with. And it was like, how was that like public knowledge enough to be like a comedy bit? Like these are all like outtakes
that people would laugh about it. Like, he's that way now.
Yeah, but it's just amazing.
Yeah, I know. Saturday Night Live is celebrating their 50-year thing. Recently, but I don't know. Saturday Night Live's funny. There's some great people on there that came through there, but
it's
to
only
me like
occasionally funny.
SCTV is kind of where it's at.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we got two more SCTV ones.
Yep.
We have the next one is the Queen Haters with I Hate the Queen, live from Mel's Rock Pile.
Nice. Oh man, shout out to Mel.
Oh, another great performance from John Candy, even when he doesn't do anything.
Right.
He's still amazing.
So he must actually know how to, or must have known how to
I think they
drums.
were really playing that.
Yeah. It's like in the Recess Monkeys, like he's actually playing. Like you can tell.
Yeah.
And in that too. It's like he's like totally
and
dead,
Martin
man.
Short man, he was had so many great characters on SCTV
totally.
too. And I never noticed it before, but they're also in the audience.
Yeah. like totally bored. Like,
Martin,
what the heck?
Yeah, like John Candy's got like the blonde afro, and Martin Short's there, like the character his character from the Dimwits.
Yep.
It's like so cool. Like they're the band, but they're also the audience.
They're totally
so
like,
good.
What is this?
Oh man. Yeah, Martin Short was really going for it too.
Totally.
And he can sing, you know, he does all the show tunes and stuff, but he was really like giving it the punk energy.
Yep.
So the next one from SCTV is 5 Neat Guys Neatest Hits.
Oh man.
Yeah, I think that was like proto A Mighty Wind, you know, like the new Main Street singers that were modeled after the new Christie Minstrels.
Man. Yeah. That choreography and like that goof in the classroom bit, and Rick Moranis just like staring at the camera.
Oh,
with
man.
That goofy look on his face. Oh man, it kills me.
Yeah, and it's even like without the Great White North, and
yeah,
you know, like, oh man, so many classics.
Totally.
Strange Brew.
Yeah,
I watched that with kids. They loved it.
Nice.
Yeah,
that was always one of my go-tos. So,
oh man, it's so good.
What did you save for last?
I said the best for last.
The last polka?
Yeah, like 5 Neat Guys gets me a little nostalgic because, you know, Let's Have a Party in My Rec Room reminds me of like the Clubhouse Christmases that we talked about on the Christmas episode.
Right.
And this one just reminds me of like our Volga German heritage. And it's one of those things too, like when you're a kid, there's things you hate when you're a kid. But when you're an adult, you're like, yeah, this is really good. Yeah, this is the Schmengies with Cabbage Rolls and Coffee Polka.
Now, point of order, that's from their later solo work. Although, could you call
that is not from SCTV. That is from the movie, the documentary, The Last Polka.
Yes. Can you call it?
Which is also proto-mockumentary.
That's true. And can you call it a solo career if it's you and your brother together?
I guess not.
Right.
But they were backed by the Happy Wanderers there.
Oh, okay. But okay. That makes more sense because like they used to just be the Happy Wanderers. And then like the Schmengies kind of became famous, like Yosh and Stan became famous in their own right.
Yeah.
Kind of made a name.
Yeah, the movie was really focused on their lives.
Right.
Yeah, and their big reunion concert.
Okay, cool. So what I wanted to bring up before was several times I've worn lederhosen to the Dickens Fair and dressed up as an old German guy. And it's like, you know, there's so many people, like cast members there that are like in character and stuff. And then like some people will like, you know, dress up like, you know, they're like guests, but they're like, they have a persona and they're like kind of playing a character. Like they're getting into it.
A little bit of cosplay going on.
For sure. And so it's like, it's always kind of tempting to do that. And like when people like ask, it's like,
is your old German guy informed by the Schmengies?
It's not. And it's like, I can't do like at all a convincing German accent. like any kid who grew up in the 80s, like I can do like a super over the top Austrian Arnold accent.
Uh-huh.
It's like I watch like Christoph Waltz, who's also Austrian, and it's like, man, if I could do like that voice, like that would be cool. Like if I could mimic or like ape Christoph Waltz's accent, like I'd really be doing something. But it's like there's a part of me that's just like I could just do a schmangy voice and say that
Put on
I'm
your best
not.
Latonian accent.
Yeah, I'm from Lutonia.
Oh man.
Yeah, just how can you get it wrong? That it's like, oh yeah, that doesn't sound like a Bavarian accent. Like, sorry. Oh, that doesn't sound like an Austrian accent. You fail. It's like
No, it's Lutonian.
Lutonia.
What are you? I'm a proud Lutonian.
Yeah. Sons of Lutonia.
Yeah.
So
and then they had like the kind of like swingery, kind of like Tom Jonesy kind of thing, played by Rick Moranis as what was it, like Linsk Minyak or something like
yeah.
Linsk Minyak.
Yeah, so one more comment on the Schmangies. Plus, like how rad is the name Happy Wanderers? Like that's just a cool band name. Like
yeah, it's great.
But so cabbage rolls and coffee, like growing up as like a West Coast California kid watching SCTV, I had no idea what cabbage rolls were. But it was like, well, I know what rolls are and I know what cabbage is. And so it's like
I kind of like knew what they were, but it was just like old people food, It's like,
well, see, in my imagination, it was like, I don't know, like a savory scone with like cabbage.
Really? Like a pastry kind of thing, huh?
Yeah, or like like a biscuit.
Patisserie.
Yeah, like a biscuit, like a scone, but with like a savory scone, but like cabbage forward,
or like a pierogi with cabbage in it, or something.
Yeah, and yeah, and then it's like, oh, dude, like cabbage rolls are super good. Like,
yeah, it's like a Lutonian enchilada, but the cabbage is the tortillas.
Right. There's no cheese. There's just more meat.
Yeah. Oh
man.
Yeah, like when I was a kid, I probably went years without eating any form of cabbage.
Mm-hmm.
But like now that I'm an adult, I totally crave cabbage rolls.
Yeah.
It's like a few times a year, it's like, I gotta make cabbage rolls.
Yeah. Yeah. And we had in Sonoma County, we had I guess it's actually Marin County, out by in Inverness, up by Point Reyes. There's a Czech restaurant called Vladimir's. Super cool building. And I was fortunate enough to go there a couple times before they closed. And one of the things they had on the menu was cabbage rolls.
Mm.
And like with the little like steamed dumpling thing, and like, oh man, it was so good. The owner was like the daughter of the original Vladimir. And she was like,
oh, cool.
You actually like that? And I'm like, this is like, it's in my DNA. Like, I love this kind of food.
Yeah, there's some food, there's like fancy frou-frou, like French cooking. There's like gourmet stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's like foodie stuff. But there's some stuff, like no matter how good a chef you are, the best version you can make of that dish is how someone's grandmother used to make it.
Yeah, 100%. Well, a lot of like actual French cooking and Italian cooking, like not the she like fancy stuff.
Right.
Like Parisian.
Yeah, like the traditional stuff.
But yeah, like
just like a mama used to make.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, some French farming grandma.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, there's a cool, also Canadian YouTube channel. I forget the actual channel name, but if you If you search cooking with Oma,
Oh, cool.
it'll come up. It's this Hungarian lady. Their son is like behind the camera filming, and it's like this just absolutely adorable old Hungarian lady like making food. I want to be there so bad. Like,
Oh man.
yeah, like
Yeah, goulash is a science.
Oh
Or
yeah,
no, it's more of an art than a science.
yeah. But then it's
Yeah.
it's not just like goulash and borscht and stuff. Like, oh man, she makes incredible stuff, and it's just like, yes, please. It's like she has this big like beehive and like pointy glasses and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really grow up with food like that, like traditional food of our ancestors.
No.
But like for some reason, it's like, I guess it is a DNA thing or like passed down through generations where you just like crave that stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's like,
Yeah.
like both of our grandmothers were really good cooks. And like one of our grandmothers was like one of the first
cook.
and strongest disciples of Julia Child.
Yeah.
And it was like,
and the best pies ever.
Oh man.
To this day, I've never had a better pie than any of the pies that she made.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, it's like I want to learn like computer graphic design, or like not graphic design, like computer special effects, because I want to make like a 70s like Sesame Street interstitial like segment thing, like psychedelic little groovy musical number that's like set in this landscape that's the top of one of Grandma Ross's lemon meringue pies.
Oh man. Yeah.
Like the top of her lemon meringue pies like looked like some like
Matterhorn.
Yeah, like
kind of toasted Matterhorn.
Yeah, but also with like a like groovy 70s like psychedelic sci-fi vibe to it. Like it they were landscapes.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, just amazing.
Yeah, our grandfather had the most amazing garden.
Oh yeah.
So I should have bought their house when Grandma moved, but I was just like a young wage slave.
Totally.
But yeah, that was like class 1 soil. Grandpa's with an artesian well coming out of the hill in Petaluma. And his garden was amazing.
Yeah.
And we would just go there and pick stuff for Grandma to make for dinner, and go and pick blackberries, and she'd make a blackberry pie. Yeah, just, oh man.
Yeah, and it wasn't like...
The corn was tall. We'd play hide and seek in the corn because it was so tall.
Yeah. It was a couple blocks from downtown Petaluma. And like, it wasn't like...
It was right off Main Street.
Right off Main Street. And it wasn't like it
was... Like a football field off Main Street.
Yeah, and it was like suburban. Like it wasn't like over the river and through the woods like Grandma's house, like out in the country. But like...
Right.
It was so pastoral regardless. Like...
Oh, yeah.
With Grandpa's garden and like... Yeah, just everything grew there. Like...
Yeah, he bought 2 lots. He ran the Woolworths in Petaluma, and he had 2 lots. He bought 2 lots on Cherry Street, and he had an old house that was being torn down because they were building a shopping center or something. So he had that house moved to one of the lots. So their house was older than it was an old house, but he had it moved there from Petaluma Boulevard.
Oh, wow.
And then the second lot was just his garden.
Right.
And there's apartments there now or something.
Yeah.
But so his garden was the same size as their lot with the house and the driveway and the garage and the chicken coop and everything.
Mhm.
His garden was the exact same size,
big.
2 of those
Yeah.
lots. Yeah.
Yeah, just insane.
Yeah, big enough that my dad had a shot put ring there so he could throw shot put and things. So you can't do that in too small a backyard.
No.
But yeah.
Yeah, the tile for the building's still there. I forget what's in the building now, but like the tile on the sidewalk that says Woolworths is still there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it's like a dress shop or like a wedding dress or tuxedo kind of place. I think.
Yeah, maybe.
It's on the west side, kind of right in the middle block. Kind of around the corner from the Speakeasy Club there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oldies.
If you go south.
Yeah, in the 90s it was like a hobby shop.
Oh yeah.
I used to go there. And my grandpa used to run the Woolworths when it was a Woolworths. They'd be like, okay.
Yeah, Petaluma's kind of the perfect town. It's like, still has that small town feel, but it's like close to the city if you want to go do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's not too far to run out to the coast
now.
Oh yeah,
like
like all the suburbs and how it's all spread out and everything. Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe it's good I didn't buy Grandma's house, but if I did buy her house, there wouldn't be an apartment building standing there now.
It's true.
In where Grandpa's garden was. There's a website called Rocklopedia Fake Bandica.
Whoa.
And they have a podcast.
Is it still going?
I don't know. I was looking something up. It said Rocklopedia Fake Bandica now has a podcast. Listen here.
Whoa. Yeah, they just had an episode drop 4 days ago.
Oh, cool. You have to check that out. Give him a shout out. Maybe we can have him on as guests or something.
Totally.
Okay, like as a young punk rocker, like everybody mocked you and people made fun of the way you looked. And then to add insult to injury, they would portray you on TV, portray punk rockers on TV as these like nihilistic misfits.
Mm-hmm.
And it was always like laughable how they kind of got it wrong.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes they kind of got it right.
Like the Queen haters.
But it was always like, yeah, because, I'm sure in Los Angeles there was tons of punk rockers that could come in as extras and things.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of actors, a lot of young actors, they'll be into alternative music or whatever. So they can probably like get the pulse a little bit better than like the writers and the around the table can get it.
Mm-hmm.
But so like one band that was portrayed, we talked about the Battle of the Bands episode on Chips when you had the Chips theme.
Yep.
And there's a band in there, a punk rock band called Pain. That was kind of the basis of that episode. And the singer was William Forsythe, who's in a lot of movies nowadays. Good character actor. He's got a very distinctive look. And if you see him, like, you totally recognize him.
Yeah, he's one of those. It's that guy.
It's that guy. Yeah. I had him confused with, I thought he was Gutter Boy in The Wraith with Clint Howard.
Yeah.
But that was Jamie Bosian. But
Okay.
I think he just kind of looked kind of the same as the singer in Pain because he had the mohawk and the way they did his makeup. I thought it was the same guy, but it's two different guys.
Okay.
Any chance to mention another Clint Howard movie, I got to take it.
For sure.
So the singer for Pain is not Gutter Boy from The Wraith. But
missed opportunity.
Pain was kind of goofy and like, just, I don't know, made punks look weird. And there was weird punks like that, you know, it's like,
Yeah.
they kind of got that right, but I wasn't one of those weird punks that was just into like nihilistic behavior.
Safety pins.
Yeah. But one band that me and my friend Mike, you know, when we were into punk and stuff, one band we kind of did like was the punk band that was on Quincy, and they were called Mayhem. This is just a one episode thing. They weren't like a regular thing.
Okay.
But they had a punk rock episode on Quincy. So this is Mayhem, Next Stop Nowhere. We loved like the goofiness of it, but like those guys have like a real like, I mean, that they're totally cheesy, you know, and in the background so you can hear the dialogue and stuff.
Right.
But they kind of have like a bit of a Black Flag thing going on.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and that was like my favorite kind of punk.
Right. The song actually kind of makes sense, you know, like it's like legit lyrics. Like it's not totally like outrageous, like, you know, straw manning punk rock. Like it's like, those lyrics would make sense as like an 80s, like Thatcher, Reagan, Cold War, like.
Right.
Like, hey, the world's going to end. Like, I want to get off. Like, and this train we're all on sucks.
Yeah. And I can agree with that sentiment, though I would never do something like that. It's like, you got to stick around and make things bearable for everybody else as best you can.
Right.
But,
or is
like,
what's the comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable?
Yeah.
That's why you got to stick around.
I'm kind of two minds, though, because like back when that first aired in the 80s, it's kind of like, oh, man, Quincy's like the square or whatever, you know, but then it's like, these punk rockers are all losers, you know, they make everybody look like total idiots and morons. In retrospect, it's like there is no shortage of idiots and morons, too, in the scene, you know, so it's like, I can kind of relate more to Quincy.
Oh no.
You know, like, like the way he's looking at it. Cause like we looked at people like that too, you know, like, oh, why are you being such a idiot? You know, it's like, I don't know. But anyway, so that's Mayhem.
I hear you.
Mayhem. I like Mayhem better than Pain. Just because there's like a little bit, you know, like the best lie has a little bit of truth in it.
Right.
And like the best fake punk rock band has a little bit of Black Flag in it. So.
Yeah, a little less cheese.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the guy's got the little like proto man bun ponytail things or whatever, but oh, I don't want a mohawk, but you can make my hair look outrageous like this, or like, I don't know. I have another casting call tomorrow. I can't shave my head.
Right.
Yeah.
I did like the
I mean, at least the guy in Pain like committed to the bit.
Right.
With a real mohawk. So
yeah, two things. I mean, that was a little straw manny. Like a
little bit.
Well, I mean a lot, but like not as much as the Chips one. Not as much as Pain, because like it's called slam dancing, and like I totally remember like they R.I.P. Slims, like Slims had all the signs that said no slam dancing.
Oh yeah,
it made me like warm and fuzzy inside every time I saw him. Slam dancing,
slam dancing. They do the mosh pit.
And they do the pogo.
Oh man, I'm not slam dancing. This is a mosh pit.
Yeah, and then like, you know, like for a fact, like the two guys like bump into each other. The other guy like takes a swing. That's like the total cheesy Foley punch.
Oh yeah. And then he comes stumbling out with like the nosebleed.
Like towards the camera. And then like
like
off
just
camera.
all zombification.
Off camera, like when they cut back to Quincy and the lady talking, you hear a couple more punches.
Oh man.
To like Looney Tunes punches.
Yep.
Like Kung Fu movie.
Yeah, it's funny though, because like you look back at like, oh, like the epitome of cool or whatever. Like every generation has had to go through this like portrayal by the mainstream primetime focus groups or whatever.
Yeah, tongue clucking and finger pointing and
yeah, but like if you think about it, like
kids these days.
Oh, James Dean was so cool. Like maybe in real life he was cool. He was kind of cool in that Western movie he was in. But like Rebel Without a Cause.
Yeah, he's like, a total twerp.
He's a total kook.
Yeah, you just want to slap him the whole time.
Yeah, it's like, grow up.
Yeah.
Nimrod.
Yeah. Whiny little bitch.
Yeah, what's your problem? Get it together, kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just like, that's supposed to be cool.
Yeah. It's like, you're just an a-hole who has a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe there's people that thought the Quincy punks were even cooler than I did.
Yeah. But, it's like James Dean, he's not Ren from Footloose.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't, well, I mean, he was stuck there, but, it's not like, it's not like they outlawed dancing in that town.
Yeah, you can still dance.
Yeah, what's your problem, dude?
It's a better outlet than crying like a little whiny baby.
Right.
Yeah. Although he could have been possessed. So maybe we should cut him some slack.
Mm-hmm.
So he did have that little like drumming monkey doll. Those things are portals for
monkey shines.
For demonic spirits.
Monkey shines?
I think so.
Monkey shines?
Okay, I think it's time to get to our next song on the playlist.
Monkey shines?
Stop. Okay.
Monkey shines?
I had the hardest. No, stop. Clark's doing the clap on screen. Okay, the next one. I had the hardest.
There was a totally awesome but totally hard to play video game, and I can't remember the name of it, but it had like bullet time was like the whole shtick. You'd go through these like levels, or like get to these sections of like a plot, and you'd have to like fight your way through this like total like grindhouse like hardcore fight scene kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
It was totally rad. And then like the more tricks and stunts and like wall running and swinging off banner poles and stuff you did.
Freestyle walking.
Yeah, the more freestyle walking you did, like the harder you were to hit and like the slower the camera would go. So you'd have like more time to like aim and dodge and stuff like that. But then you would get to these like save points, and there would be like the monkey with the cymbals, and it would like screech, and like the camera would zoom in on it. Yeah. Okay. What was the order? Yeah. Somehow there was also like you kill some bad guys, and like blood would splash on your character's face, and it would be like this, like it would turn into like total like punk rock grindhouse like white zombie music, and it would be like this black, white, and red like color shaded level, and it was just like how fast you could kill all these bad guys, and it wouldn't be the bullet time thing anymore, or like the parkour thing. You'd just be like running around with like this fire ants or whatever. But like it was like bookended by like the creepy cymbal monkey.
Yeah, what's that movie that's all like that? Like black and white and red?
Monkey Shines?
No.
Sin City.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never seen that.
It's pretty good. It's really gnarly, though.
Well, I've only seen part of it.
Yeah.
Because, like, my premier celebrity crush is Jessica Alba.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, she's well featured in that. Yeah, it's good. It's just like, it's, speaking of nihilistic, it's pretty grim. Like,
Yeah.
but it has one of the best lines in it. Like, Bruce Willis's character, like, finally catches the creepy molester bad guy dude and just starts like punching him, and like he's narrating it like it's all film noir and stuff.
Oh, man.
And he's like, after a while, I was just punching wet pieces of bone into the floorboards.
Oh, man.
It's like the bad guy in it is just like so nasty and gross. Like,
okay. This, on a lighter note, this next one, I had the hardest time picking a song.
Yeah.
I love this song. I just had to go with this one. But they have so many songs that are just amazing and epic and memorable and hilarious. But this is Flight of the Conchords. Too many dicks on the dance floor.
Yeah, those guys wrote some of the best lyrics, like comedy lyrics ever.
That show is just such a classic.
Like,
as a total bunker DVD edition.
Totally. Yeah, like the too much time on too many hands. Not enough ladies, too many mans.
Oh, man. Yep.
And then, what's the other? Oh, I just thought of it. Oh, yeah. The song I would have picked, like, as good as the Bowie song is.
Oh, Bowie's in space.
the fashion one.
Oh, yeah.
Has the best lyrics.
Oh, man.
Like,
yeah, there's so many good ones. Yeah, I love the one, you don't have to be a prostitute. These are honorable mentions.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a prostitute. Sugar Lumps. Hippopotamus and Rhinoceros.
Yeah, the lyrics for the fashion one, the like, how does it go? Like, you think fashion's your friend, but fashion's a stranger. You think fashion is something, my friend, but fashion is danger.
Yeah, I previewed that one too, but I don't know. Too many on the dance floor is just, it's so catchy.
Yeah. And it's like, I've
got that cool breakdown, and everybody's been in that scenario before.
Yeah, I've used that in real life where it's just like, dude, too many on the dance floor. Like, back it up. Yeah. And it's like one of the things whenever I go to like a heavy metal show, like, I don't know, Sabaton, for instance, as much as I love Sabaton, it's like, too many dicks on the dance floor.
Too many dudes.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, Flight of the Conchords. So yeah, that LOTR song.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, there's so many great songs from those guys.
Yeah, I was thinking about them. Oh yeah, the Lenny and the Squigtones.
Oh yeah.
You're the prettiest girl on the street, depending on the street. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Could be a part-time
that one
model.
where they meet the same girl, and the one guy thinks her name is Barbara, and the other guy thinks it's Barbara. And they go back and forth through the whole time. Then she just ends up dumping both of them. But it turns out her name is Barbara.
Oh man, I also love the bit where they're like, Brit is dating an Australian lady. She's like super mean to him, And Jermaine's like, does she have a man's name? And he's like, no. What's her name? Keitha. She have a man's name with an A on the end? What's her name? Keitha.
Oh, man.
It's like, it's a plausible Australian name. That's so funny.
Okay, this next one is just a funny, feel-good one. And I don't know, there's some good songs in this show too. And it always made my daughter laugh a lot whenever this guy would do his thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Mouse
Which
Rat.
made me laugh in turn. Yeah. So this is a Mouse Rat with 5,000 candles in the wind.
Oh, man.
And in the best fictitious band tradition, they would take types of music that I'm not the biggest fan of and kind of borrow from those to make like parodies type songs that I actually like. You know, like, I don't know, he kind of does like a little bit of Eddie Vedder kind of stuff. And it's like Eddie Vedder and Dave Matthews and like all this stuff I normally wouldn't listen to.
Yeah.
But like makes it enjoyable and like gives you a good giggle. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. This podcast is not about talking about music that we don't like. So,
right.
Duke Silver, Mouse Rat, all the various iterations of Mouse Rat, Parks and Recreation, fantastic show.
Yeah. Even the fictitious headliner band for the big finale thing had Jeff Tweedy in it. So it's like, man, you know, it's like pretty good.
Right.
Okay.
Next up.
Sticking with the equestrian theme, the equine theme, this next one is probably the most kick-ass fictitious band ever assembled. This is, let's see, the artist is Jonah Levin, and this song is One Trick Pony.
What was that from?
From the movie One Trick Pony.
Okay.
But starring Paul Simon as Jonah Levine or Jonah Levin.
Okay.
So it's Paul Simon.
Right.
But it was a movie.
Okay.
And kind of like in Blues Brothers fashion, where they just got like, let's just get all the baddest musicians to back us up.
Right.
And that's Steve Gadd on drums, Eric Gale on guitar. Those guys were both in Stuff and played with everybody and recorded with everybody and are still doing that. Tony Levin on bass. He was in King Crimson. Played on, he's just played with everybody too.
Right.
And Richard T on keys, who also played with everybody. But I mean, just like the baddest musicians they could like put together to be Paul Simon's backup band in this One Trick Pony movie about a guy like trying to make it in the music business who's like got the baddest band, but they're not really what the studio or like what the record labels are looking for. You know, he's kind of like past his prime and washed up and struggling. But that song and Late in the Evening were both featured in that movie. So they're like two huge hit songs that were from a movie that was like a real artist, but a real artist playing an actor in this fictitious band.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because it was like, man, that's just like a really good Paul Simon song. Like,
yeah.
What's the story here?
Well, but that was Paul Simon as Jonah Levin,
Right.
from the movie One Trick Pony.
Yeah.
That's kind of a cheat, I guess, but
No,
I don't know.
it's not based on our parameters, but it's
Right.
it's like, am I supposed? Where's the joke?
Oh yeah, no,
Is
it's
it-
not a comedy.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying,
It's just
so I can provide the jokes. That made me think of the Garfunkeling episode of Flight of the Conchords.
oh man, yeah.
She calls it Garfunkeling.
Oh man, my friend Eric Brown, who's a really talented graphic designer,
Mhm.
he took like one of the famous pictures of Simon and Garfunkel
Mhm.
and like photoshopped my face into it.
Oh man.
He was always sending me stuff. Oh, and if you ever have any graphic design needs, go to Frisk Creative. He's living in Thailand now, but he still does graphic design work as his main side hustle.
Nice.
So if you need any graphic design needs, anything, t-shirts, merch, flyers, anything. And I'm giving him a shout out because it's funny because he's always sending me pictures with like me photoshopped into him. He did one of me as Tom Petty from Damn the Torpedoes, and it was Joe Fortune and the Broad Chasers.
Nice. Yeah, I've seen a few of these.
So he's always harassing me with these
Nice.
Photoshop pictures. But I'm giving him a shout out because the cool circle logo with our face,
Yep.
the Hear Me Out Bro podcast, like he did it for us, and he won't let me like send him any money for it or anything. He said, "No, I just did that for fun for you guys.
Nice.
I like your show, and no, it's on me."
We
So if
appreciate
you
it.
like our logo and you want some cool design work, Frisk Creative,
Nice.
give him some work.
I like our logo.
He'll earn it, and you'll be happy with what you get.
Nice. Yeah, I like our logo.
Yeah, me too. Okay.
Well, one more thing. Total aside, but this is how my brain works. I can't not think about it. My friend Damon always used to say "one prick Tony" instead.
Uh-huh.
Like, you're a real one prick Tony. It's like, dude, stop. Cut it out
Yeah.
with the dad jokes.
And that's a good joke to add in too, because it ties in with some of these things. Like,
Yeah, and it's just subtle enough, and then it's like,
oh man. Okay, this next one is going out to my friend Tristan, who we like mention a lot on the podcast.
like every other episode.
Yeah, because we worked together for years at
Yep.
2 different places.
I worked with you guys. It was the most fun I ever got paid for.
Yeah,
with you guys.
one of the worst jobs, but the most fun because of just the hang.
Yeah, and then it was like,
Yeah.
they kind of let us alone. Like you were the head of the bike
For the
department.
most part, until they didn't.
Yeah, until they didn't. But it was like,
Yeah.
I mean, we did get to like they let us set up the shop like how we wanted, which was really cool. Like,
Yeah, we had
that's
free
totally-
reign pretty much.
totally rare in a bike shop. Usually it's like how
Yeah.
they want it, or like we want it to look presentable, and it's like,
Oh man, and we kicked butt.
yeah, dude, we were the best.
Yeah.
Other than the shipping department, we were the best.
Yeah,
But,
it's all management and money
Yeah, totally.
gets in the way. Scams and finagles.
Remember the secret compartment?
Oh, your little
secret
under
bear claw compartment.
yeah, your little Entenmann's drawer
Yep.
underneath the we kept seeing Clark eating like these little bear claws and
Oh, don't
cheese
pretend.
danishes and
Don't
stuff.
pretend you weren't in on it. You helped me build it.
No, I didn't.
You did.
No, you did that on your own. Because Tristan and I were like, dude, where do you keep getting those? And you like
could've
pulled this little
swore-
drawer out.
I could have
No.
sworn you helped me make it.
No, you did that all on your own. And we were like, where's he getting all these like little Entenmann Danish things?
For the audience.
And we're like, dude, give me one. Give me one. Where are you getting these? And then you like pulled the little drawer out and our minds were just blown.
So for the audience, we had like they gave us a budget and like we set up like usually when you have a bike shop, like a actual bike maintenance area, you have like a bike stand, which is usually freestanding. And then you'll have like either a toolbox, like a Craftsman toolbox drawer with like a shelf on top.
Yeah, and you're kind of against a wall and like
and then
by
like,
yourself.
If you're really lucky, you might have some pegboard. But it's like, man, you gotta go into the drawers and like pull stuff out, and like people use your tools and don't put them back in the right spot. And so it's like a lot of times you're just like pulling drawers out and like, hey, where is this? And so we had this setup where like we had the freestanding bike stands, and then like opposite. So like instead of like a lot of times it'll be like the freestanding bike stand, but then all the tools will be behind the bike stand. So you have to like walk around the bike or reach over the bike and the bike stand to like grab tools off the pegboard or whatever. So we had office chairs with the seat, like the backs cut off. So they were like roller chairs that were adjustable in height. And so we could just sit on those. And then we had these like a workbench, like this kind of narrow workbench, pegboard, like this little pegboard riser behind it that was like wasn't super high. So like at two sides. And so we could like make eye contact and talk to each other like opposite. But so that was like on the other side. So the mechanic was in between the tools and the bike and on the bike stand. And it was just like,
yeah, we had two-sided bike stands.
It was
so each little alcove had two mechanics working in it.
Yeah.
And then you could see everybody else in the little stations.
Yeah. And
we had a boom box up on a shelf and could just
we had
crank music.
We had it
and
dialed.
We had control over the music for the most part.
And so part of that was under the little workbench, like in between the like workbench sections, there was like this empty negative space. And just whatever serendipitous happenstance was the perfect size for one of the cardboard trays that like they're not Entenmann's, they're Knudsen's. Like the Knudsen's like breakfast pastries. They get like bear claws and like cheese danishes and jelly danishes and stuff. And they're all like, individually wrapped. And then in this like cardboard tray that's like also wrapped. And so, usually like in the pastry aisle at the grocery store. And it's like, I was buying them all the time. And it was like, I had a steady job. I had some walking around money. What are you going to buy? Pastries. And it was like, well, if I buy in bulk, like, I'm saving money. Like, the world's my oyster. And then it was like, well, if I have one of these, like, people are going to see them and they're going to be like, hey, can I have one of those? And then I'm not saving money. And it was like,
yeah, it's not like bringing donuts to the office or something.
It's like, no, these are mine. Like, I'll give you one, but like, you're not They're not for sharing. And so it was like, just by some chance, that cardboard tray, fit up in between the workbenches, like totally unseen. Little secret stash.
Yeah, if I never got enough scratch money together to like start some sort of enterprise or be all entrepreneurial, but man, we had like just between you, me, and Tristan, like we had a killer team.
Oh yeah,
like we could have made anything and like just like done really well with that.
Yeah, and had fun doing it.
Yeah. So one way we would pass the time is talking about movies or like our Dukes of Hazzard thing or this or that. This one is one, I don't know if we talked about this one with you, but me and Tristan just both loved this song and this movie too. This is Eddie and the Cruisers on the Dark Side.
Be good.
Kind of like how all my favorite Beatles songs are actually Badfinger songs. My favorite Bruce Springsteen songs are Eddie and the Cruisers. Nice. I mean, not really, of course, but kind of in a way, you know?
Yeah, like I like Bruce Springsteen, but I don't like any of his hit songs.
Yeah.
Like I like a bunch of his songs that like I didn't hear until I like was like, okay, I'm gonna actually listen to Bruce Springsteen. And it was like, dude, these guys rule.
There's no denying he's a national treasure.
Right.
I'm half joking.
Yeah, but
but not completely joking.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great song. Yeah, I don't know the whole backstory on the whole Eddie and the Cruisers thing. Should have researched it more, but I just know it's a movie and the song is from it. And you'd hear this song on the radio. It's a catchy song.
Right.
Well written, well played. But it's from a movie. So
nice.
Okay. Are you ready to transition a little bit?
Yeah. I'm looking at this song title.
Sometimes the best fictitious parody bands are duets. And this one is a duet by a parody band. This is Hot Country Nights with a K. And this song is called Harassment. And this next segment is going to be called Country Innuendo. So, I don't know. Slightly amusing.
Pretty funny.
That one won out over another song they have called Moose Knuckle Shuffle, which is like a parody of a Boot Scoot Boogie.
Nice.
Yeah. That's Dierks Bentley. Like just put that together as like a parody band. They have a bunch of songs like that. They're all pretty bad. I like that play on words and there's some funny little lyric in there. But since our show's family friendly, we won't comment too much.
Oh man.
So the next one is another duet. This is from Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. So this is the duet scene from Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
Oh man.
Pretty bad, but funny.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If we can't talk about it here on the Hear Me Out Bro podcast, where can we talk about it?
Yeah. Two of my favorite comedic actors.
Yeah.
Just hamming it up. That's pretty good.
I think every guy's kind of been in situations like that where it's just like,
yeah.
And I love the little musical thing because like that was a thing in those old 50s country songs where they'd have like the little pause, you know, in the lyric. I just love the way they just put that little innuendo like in the pause.
Yep.
I don't know. Pretty clever.
Well
and since you included that guy, and I know he's one of your favorite comedic actors, I thought I'd put it on the list.
Yep.
And honestly, I'd rather see, well, I haven't seen them all, but I'd rather see a parody biopic movie than like an actual biopic. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'd rather see a documentary than a Hollywood biopic because Sony Music owns all the rights to the licensing of the songs now and wants them to be hits again and culturally relevant. I'd way rather see a parody of a certain era of music than like just a I don't know.
Yeah,
marketing.
Milking a cash cow.
Yep.
Yeah, but sometimes because it's like I don't like documentaries are kind of hard sometimes, and it's like a lot of band documentaries aren't that great.
Yeah, that's true. Like, it depends on who makes it. You know, they always get all these like rock critics to talk about this or that, and it's like that's not what that means to me.
Yeah.
Or like,
totally. Yeah.
How many freaking times do we have to see Sebastian Bach talk about how great a band is? It's like, give me a break.
Yeah. As much as I love banger films and Flight 666.
And that guy's a good singer, but he's like a total, like, I don't know, rock history whore, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's like, did they get him because he was available? Anyway, I was just thinking about was it Bohemian Rhapsody, like Queen biopic?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, parts of it were pretty cheesy, but like as far as I know, it was pretty accurate. Like they streamlined stuff and like combined characters.
Yeah, I think they're trying to do a better job at that now.
But like that one was actually pretty good. And like,
and I want to see the Bob Dylan one. That one actually, I've heard a lot of good things about that one.
Yeah, I'm not that big a Bob Dylan fan, but
I am. But it from what I've heard, that's a really good one too.
Nice. Yeah, the Bohemian Rhapsody one is cool because like the story of like how they came up with like the clap clap stomp, we will rock you, like is actually kind of cool. And then like they show it and it's like, you know, that big Wimbledon concert where it was like they debuted that song. It was like, holy crap. Like it's like total goosebumps moment. And it's just like, man, somebody has like this simple idea for like how to get the crowd involved and then like just crushes it. And like everybody's on board, and it's like, man, that's like a master of their craft. And like
totally
seeing that portrayed, like that would be an interesting thing to hear in a documentary, but then to see it like dramatically portrayed, like it was just like, wow, that's awesome.
You can't be a fly on the wall,
right?
But if you could, like it gives you the feels.
Yeah.
To like see those moments
like
reenacted.
It's pretty cheeseball, but like Mike Myers plays this record executive in that movie. And it on the one hand, it's like, you know, he has a bunch of makeup on and you can barely tell it's Mike Myers. And I saw an interview with him and he talked about how how badly he wanted to play that role. It's like that the character like wasn't real. He was like kind of a conglomeration, and like they kind of like dialed up like the like
took different
negativity.
instances and rolled them into one character.
Yeah, and then like the record executive that he was based on, that character was based on, like wasn't really that like didn't have that much animosity for the band. But like that's how it was in the script and like the screenplay for like dramatic effect. You know, you have to have like a antagonist
drama moment.
Yeah, moment. And so Mike Myers was like, he wanted to play that part so bad. So he was like, I've always wanted to play the dad from Billy Elliot. Like, no son of mine's gonna dance the ballet. Like they're just man. No. I'm a fuddy-duddy jerk. I'm gonna crush your dreams. It's like being fuddy-duddy jerk. But then like the flip side of it. Oh man, I forgot where I was gonna go with this. Crap, I forgot my second point.
Yeah, you would think playing like the record company executive would be like a not great role, but they always cast really cool people in those kind of roles.
Right.
You know, like Rob Lowe in Wayne's World.
Right.
And as I was doing research for one a little further down the list, and I was in IMDb or something, it's like record executive. It's like, oh yeah, that's a good part for that guy.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that like antagonistic, like straight man foil.
Yep. Oh, and on that same note, like I do like the movie That Thing You Do, but I didn't include, and there's some good catchy songs in there, and there's some interesting things, but I did not include it on purpose for one reason.
Monkey Shines?
No, not Monkey Shines. Possibly Monkey Shines.
I know why you didn't include it.
Yeah, because the record executive jerk in that movie.
Fraser. Tom Hanks. America's Dad. Tom Hanks.
Apparently he's from Red Bluff, or his mother lives in Red Bluff. Or
yeah, he grew up
in Tom Hanks.
Yeah, he grew up in Oakland. But yeah, he's North Cal, man.
Yeah, there's a Red Bluff Tom Hanks connection in there somewhere.
Nice.
Which is why I don't live in Red Bluff.
Man.
Okay, this next one is Electric Apricot. Hey, are you going to Burning Man? So that's from the movie Electric Apricot, about the band Electric Apricot. Here, just leave it there because we're going to rewatch a little bit of it.
Okay.
So it's about a jam band, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's goofy. I think the guy spinning around, the hippie guy spinning around doing the spinner dance, is Rick Rubin.
Uh-huh.
Like famous record producer and stuff.
Genius record producer.
Yeah. As a fellow Baldy, I think Brian Kehoe, the guitar player's hair looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it's not real hair. And do you remember him from Merv? We saw them open for Fishbone, and they did the Cantina song.
Oh yeah.
And then they did the opera thing and stuff. Yeah, that's Brian Kehoe, and Les Claypool's playing drums there, singing, of course. That can't miss that voice anywhere.
Nope.
But like play it a little bit more, and pay special attention to the bass players playing. You can go back a little bit more because I think I just saw it.
Yeah, right there.
So yeah, like kind of right in there. Yeah, like check out his bass.
I'm having like PTSD like pre-post
Sebastopol traumatic stress disorder.
No, like that too, but also like pre-post-traumatic stress disorder for when you do the Grateful Dead episode of the podcast.
It'll be more interesting than that. It won't be as traumatic as you think. I hope. I don't know. I could be wrong. But anyway, so the bass player in Electric Apricot is Adam Gates. And this is that bass.
Whoa.
My Black Rickenbacker is Adam Gates' Black Rickenbacker.
Crazy.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, yeah, I should put Electric Apricot in there. What song should I pick? And he's like playing like a, what do they call it? Or like the red sunburst Rickenbacker.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was like, oh, yeah, I should put that Burning Man song in there. And it's like, wait, he's playing a Black Rickenbacker. That's my Black Rickenbacker that used to belong to Adam Gates. So, I don't know. Kind of cool.
That is kind of
cool. It's got a little provenance, with our fictitious band theme.
That's fun. But
yeah.
Theo was wearing that Lagunitas IPA t-shirt that you can barely see under the wig and the beard. That's like my least favorite beer of all time.
Oh man,
it's so terrible. And I
haven't drank since I was 25, but I know I wouldn't like IPAs.
Yeah. Have I ever told you my trauma story?
No.
In Grady,
did you drown in a vat of hops?
No, I did in a past life, apparently. Okay. Yeah, because there was one in Austria that we didn't go to. But like in pretty much every major city in Europe, there's at least one Irish pub. And I don't really remember any in Munich, but it was like there were so many awesome places to eat and drink in Munich.
Yeah, you don't have to go to the store and buy Guinness. There's like in almost any town you can find a place to get Guinness, like in a pint glass.
Yeah. So like famously across from the big cathedral in Florence is like there's like this big like piazza around the whole thing, and like in one corner of it there's an Irish pub. And it was like
oh man,
could we like there were some like high top tables like out kind of like just outside the front door, and it was like, oh, could we sit there? And it was like the table was actually like a barrel, and then like these stools.
Oh, cool.
And it was like people watching all these tourists and stuff in front of this like incredible, totally unique cathedral. And in this town with like millennia of history, like back to the Etruscans and before. And it was like, and I'm having a pint of Guinness. I was just like, this is pretty awesome. And so then it was like,
yeah, Irish pubs are kind of the Planet Fitness of the old world.
Yeah, pretty much.
Every strip mall got a place for Irishmen to go get a drink.
It's not quite that bad, but
yeah,
but not too far off either. But so we spent a couple night.
The Roman Empire went one way, and the Irish pub kind of went back as it receded.
Right.
As the Roman Empire receded, the Irish pubs spread.
Yeah, the Celts got their revenge. So we kind of made it a point to search out the Irish pub in every town we went to, and we could usually find one. And so we spent several nights in in Venice, and like, man, we
since you couldn't spend your European vacation just in Ireland because
right.
you
Well,
wanted to see more,
we didn't go to
you had to
Ireland.
stop. Oh, okay.
That was the
But
problem.
you had to get a piece of Ireland. Okay.
Yeah, it was like we're out like on the other, we're on the bottom end of Europe. And it was like, oh, still some Irish here, and yeah. So Venice, like, totally amazing city. Again, insane uh, history and culture and food and everything. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's like if you have to go out of your way to have a bad meal in Italy, it's insane. And uh, like so many just like insanely magical moments. So one of the nights we ended up at the Irish pub in Venice, and like the footy match was on, and it was like that's when I realized that it's like, dude, soccer is the ultimate pub sport.
Yeah.
Because like basketball,
instead of getting wings and Budweiser and watching American football.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get like chips and Guinness and watch real football. So like American football, like they stand around for a really long time. Then they get ready and they get ready and they get ready. And then something happens real fast. And then they stand around and the score never changes.
And you wait for what the official has to say about what just happened.
Yeah. And it's like, okay. Then they cut to commercial and they come back and they're still just kind of standing around. And
yeah.
And then like basketball, like they're running up and down the court, like amazing shots.
Yeah, basketball's
like,
the one sport I can stand to watch.
Right.
When I do watch sports.
Right. But it's not something you would want to watch in a pub, because in a pub you're like having a conversation and kind of half watching it. And so it's like football, it would just like you tone it, like completely tune it out, because they're just standing around most of the time. Like American football. Whereas real football, like it has all the running around of basketball, but like basketball, it's like if you were having a conversation and like the basketball game was on, like you'd hear somebody else cheer that was paying attention, or like they'd cut to like the highlight, like instant replay, and you'd be like, oh yeah, man, look at that shot. Holy moly. Or like, you know, you'd run to the can and come back out, and like this, like the score is like 10 points difference, and you're like, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
World football.
Well, baseball's another one that's just slow.
Yeah.
It's funner to play than it is to watch.
Yeah, or if you were like listening on the radio while like pulling weeds, or like sitting on the porch drinking lemonade or something.
Yeah. Like I want to get there with some of those different sports.
Yeah.
I've thought about revisiting, but I don't know. Go ahead, finish your story. I'll tell you my sports allegiances.
So soccer or real football, they're running around all the time. They hardly ever stop, running all up and down the field. You can have a conversation. We could talk about like, oh man, like remember the Bizteca at that place? I'm still full. Blah blah blah. Yeah. What when we get here, what should we go see? Or like, oh hey, you're from that country. Like that's cool. Blah blah blah. Like talking to random strangers at the bar. You look up at the TV, still running around, running all over the place, kicking the ball like way across the field. Score hasn't changed at all. Go back to the conversation. Blah blah blah. Oh hey. yeah, if you're ever in America, come check us out. Go see this, blah, blah, blah. Look back at the TV, still running around, kicking the ball around. Score is exactly the same.
Uh-huh.
Perfect.
That's why it's such a big deal when somebody actually
Perfect.
makes a goal in soccer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just like,
Yeah.
if you're going to watch a sport and like only pay about 30% attention to it, highly recommend football.
Limited bandwidth.
Yep. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're at this Irish pub in Venice, Italy, watching the footy match, talking to an Englishman, and they have 4 beers on tap, and one of them is Lagunitas IPA.
Whoa.
And
Really?
I'm like, no.
Oh, man. It followed me here. Oh, man.
It's like, they make that like 2 towns over from where I live. And
Yeah, the only local stuff I liked was Red Tail Ale. Yeah, actually, I got homesick in Hawaii one time and went and bought one just because I was homesick. Just wanted like a little taste of home or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A friend of mine left like a case of it at my house one time. Like, I was like, okay, I'm not going to drink this. Like, you should take this. And he's like, nah, man, you can have it. I'm like he
Red Tail or Lagunitas?
Lagunitas.
Oh,
and
okay.
And then like I tried cooking with it. Like I tried like boiling sausage in it.
Oh.
Because, like beer boiling sausage, like sausage boiling beer is like, it's great.
And real beer, yeah.
And beer that doesn't taste like
even cheap beer. Even cheap beer can pull that trick.
Yeah. Yeah, like PBR. You're good to go.
Yeah, or Miller or something.
Yeah.
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 It's totally suitable for cooking.
Yeah, it was
like
awful.
It's like a cooking wine versus table wine.
Yeah. But yeah, it was awful. And it was like, I think I just ended up throwing it out.
You ruined a perfectly good sausage.
Yeah. Like 4 perfectly good sausages. And
oh man.
And like the friend who had left it there, like lorded it over me isn't the right word, but like made reference, like, I don't know, he was trying to like wheel and deal with me. And he was like, man, remember when I left you that whole case of Lagunitas? And
I told you I didn't want it.
Yeah.
Please take it home.
It's like, you weren't doing me a favor, bro. Like, I don't owe you anything for that. Like, you owe me for that.
You owe me still.
Yeah, you owe me 4 sausages.
Oh, man.
And like 5 minutes of like scraping out my cast iron pan.
Did you in turn leave it at someone else's house?
No.
and then start telling them they owed you something?
No.
That case of beer is probably still around somewhere, just going house to house. Like, hey, remember when I left that full case of?
I'm pretty sure I poured it all down the sink.
It is good for that.
Recycle. Yeah. Although like the digester bacteria out of the water treatment facility were probably like,
oh man,
digester bacteria. So these water treatment plant are like, this paste tastes horrible. I want to talk about music that I don't like, but talk about beer I don't like all day long.
An amazing new dimension in sound. Dragon sound.
Whoa. Oh man. Yeah, it seemed I think you'd showed me that stuff before.
Yeah, I got to give the nod to Valiant himself for turning me on to Miami Connection via Rocknology.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Pretty quality.
I also
It's like a bunch of cocaine running ninjas battling the band / dojo / group of friends.
Friends forever, friends through eternity. They're unstoppable, Eric. Unstoppable. I love the bad guys like talking too loud to like a completely almost silent nightclub. Isn't that your sister, Mark? Like
I don't know what she's doing here.
She's not supposed to be here. They look kind of like half slow motion, like girls clapping along with the music that you can barely hear, like behind the bad guys. So you can hear completely, like with no interference whatsoever.
Yeah. The songs are cool though. They're like, especially Against the Ninja, you know, it's totally AOR.
Totally.
She's not too far off from copping a Pat Benatar kind of thing. Good stuff. Had to have 2 Dragon Sound songs.
Nice
on there.
Yeah, that one dude with the mustache and the mullet.
Yeah,
like that look has totally come back. Like,
oh, totally.
Yeah, there's a bunch of dudes rocking that look now, and it's like I have a hard time taking them seriously.
Yeah,
it's like, I don't know.
I was around when that was a thing.
Yeah, it wasn't cool then.
Yeah. The rest of our list is all metal.
Nice.
Okay. To close out, we have 4 more songs. Another quattro. This is the metal quattro.
Right.
And the first one is more kind of hair metal-ish, but it gets better from there. So don't worry.
Okay.
So the first band is Vesuvius, Promised Land. So that's from the film The Rocker.
Which, if
Vesuvius.
I'm not mistaken, was the last movie that you and I saw together in the movie theater.
Oh, I think you're right.
I think we saw that together somewhere.
Yeah, it's a while ago. Yeah, Rainn Wilson, like, stars as the Rocker. It's got Will Arnett on vocals.
Yep.
And Lenny Ross is the guitar player, but his character's name is Styx.
Nice.
And Fred Armisen is the bass player. He's totally got the moves down in that video.
Yeah.
He's like doing all the hairband stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Fred Armisen is a musical comedic genius. Like,
yeah. And there probably could have been like some Portlandia stuff on here, but I don't know. To me, it's less songs and more skits with Portlandia.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's like, he's done so many hilarious things on SNL too, like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
the
wedding
punk band reunion at the wedding. Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, I thought you might put that one on here, but we can do it as an honorable mention.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a good drummer. Did you ever see his special on just drums?
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So he knows his stuff. And I almost put the clip of him with like the recording studio where he talks about everything that got used on Pet Sounds and stuff. And then talking about how great it's going to be and everything. And then at the end, like Jack White shows up. But Yeah, I don't know. That one just hit a little too close to home.
Yeah.
With like my studio nerdery stuff.
Yeah. Plus, it would be triggering for me. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
Jack White's the IPA of guitar player musicians.
Of rock and roll.
Yeah.
Okay. So this next band, The Rocker's a funny movie. If you haven't seen it,
it's so great.
it's a fun watch. Good laughs. Okay, the next band is Bad News, and the song is Warriors of Genghis Khan.
I'm looking forward to this one.
I think you'll like it.
What's that from?
That's from Channel 4's The Comic Strip Presents.
Okay.
And the one guy there at the end, that's Nigel Planer.
Oh, yeah.
Who was in The Young Ones.
Of course.
Yeah. So, and it just says Channel 4. I assume that's BBC Channel 4.
Maybe.
But yeah, so that's Bad News.
Oh, man. Yeah, that was awesome, dude.
I love the way the guy sings. I mean, he's got like a Lemmy kind of hoarseness going. And yeah,
the song
is cool.
The song's fun.
Yeah. I love the part like the damsel in distress, like when they cut to her with the singing, it's him like singing. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So I guess they kind of really did a thing, kind of like how Spinal Tap does stuff.
Right.
Like apparently they would actually do stuff too. So.
Nice.
Bad News. Yeah. I like that guy's voice though, man. If I could sing like that, I'd have it made.
Totally.
I would be well pleased.
You'd be chuffed.
Yeah. Completely chuffed. This next one is a pair of Brazilian comedians called Ernest and Renato. And they were putting a comedy album out, and they thought it would be funny to make like a little 10-minute mockumentary, like heavily inspired by Spinal Tap.
Okay.
And so they came up with this band called Massacration. So this is Massacration Metal Is My Life.
Yeah, pretty silly.
Pretty silly. And like, I mean, you can tell it's just a total parody when the guy starts singing, but like his voice kind of grows on you after a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't know. To me, like that parody could only be done by people that actually are fans of metal because of some of the tropes they have in there.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like,
it's pretty silly.
But and it's like,
and the guy can sing, and the band's not terrible.
Yeah, the band's not terrible. Like, yeah, the falsetto thing kind of wears.
I don't know. It kind of grew on me. Like at first, it was like, oh yeah, that's kind of silly, but like, I don't know.
It's like, I don't know. Over the last like 15 years, like I've heard a lot of totally awesome like Mexican and South American heavy metal bands, and like,
yeah,
it's like, like don't make fun of those guys. Those guys rule, man.
Yeah, I mean they're having fun. It was just something they did along with their other comedy. I don't have no idea what their other comedy is like, but
okay. Because like, you know, like Vesuvius, like I can laugh at that.
Yeah.
'Cause it's like, yeah, I don't know. I don't have time for hair metal. Like,
right.
What's that band? Steel Panther.
Yeah.
And it's like, those guys just like, yeah, they're a parody band, but they're also kind of not a parody band. And then like,
they're a great band.
It's like, they're just too close that it's like,
yeah,
okay, you're just doing it. Like your parody is too close. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. And I think I mentioned before, like sort of like how I'd rather see a parody than a, big production biopic. Kind of. in that same way, I would rather see a parody band like Steel Panther than a cover band just playing all those like hair metal hits.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's like you could make money being in a cover band playing whatever cruises or wherever old people hang out now,
Mm-hmm.
or you could make fun of it and have more fun with it.
True.
And be original.
True.
And witty at the same time.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know. If I had any musical talent, I'd do something actually good or try to do something actually good.
Yeah.
It might be silly, but like I've played Nano War of Steel on the podcast.
Yeah.
It's like, those guys are actually pretty good. Like, they're pretty silly, but
yeah, true.
they write great songs too.
Massacration has other songs, but I just like this one because it's at the castle, and
mm-hmm.
I like the guy forging the sword, the big giant sword with the little ball peen hammer, and
mm-hmm. And cutting lasagna with it and sushi.
Yeah. And I have to agree that metal is better than Google.
Yeah.
Even though we use Google in helping us put together our show notes.
Yeah, and YouTube is a Google platform too.
I take that back. YouTube is amazing.
It's the greatest.
The best.
Okay, getting back to parody bands and sarcasm.
Okay, parody bands. This next one, we're going from Brasilia to Australia. Going to Down Under, mate. Throw another shrimp on the barbie.
Did you like my segue?
What's that?
Never mind.
Segway? Google? Segway? What?
Monkey shines?
Are you riding your Segway around the Google campus?
Sad.
Okay.
I'm not going to go down a segue.
Okay.
Tangent.
This final one to round out our metal quattro is Salmon Hater. And the song is Codpiece Fate. Let me try that again.
Sorry, I totally beefed it.
The band is Salmon Hater, and the song is Codpiece Face.
Okay, so what was that all about?
I just think that song is pretty kick-ass.
It's pretty kick-ass.
Yeah. I don't know. The lyrics are silly or whatever. They're not like making fun of anything or like trying to be too witty.
Mm-hmm.
They're just, the band rocks. But so what Salmon Hater is, it's these two Australian DJs, Adam Spencer and Will Anderson of Triple J Breakfast Radio. So, like, I guess on the show, Will Anderson asked Adam Spencer who his favorite metal band was, and jokingly he gave the fake name of Salmon Hater, and he said that they were a premier fishcore band. And so it's just like a stupid like DJ morning show like joke.
Yeah.
But then like people start calling into the radio station, and like one of them was a record or like a studio producer guy. He's like, dude, you have to do Salmon Hater. Come on, let's do it. And so they just got all these guys together and like formed Salmon Hater, like out of this like stupid joke. And yeah, so that's Salmon Hater. And they actually had like kind of a hit song called 6.66 100th of the number of the beast. And it like actually like charted on the Australian radio charts. And they think it had to do just because they have listeners that would call in and say, oh, yeah, I love Salmon Hater.
Mm-hmm.
But they actually like displaced some legitimate artists from the like radio charts with this stupid song.
Oh, man.
But, and I, like probably to get the whole Salmon Hater thing, that probably would have been the best song to have on the playlist.
Mm-hmm.
But like that song rocks.
It's pretty good.
Beast Face. Yeah. It's just like, I don't know. It's better than parody. Like if you just heard that, you'd think it was just some metal band. You wouldn't be like, oh yeah, those guys are totally like making fun of something.
Right.
You'd be just like, oh yeah,
being silly.
These guys are pretty slamming. Yeah. There's a lot of fake fictitious bands out there that are actually listenable.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think I might have 2 Tree last minute additions.
Okay. Yeah, last week Clark had the huge portion of the playlist, and I had quite a few picks too, but mostly it was Clark's pick, and mine ended up being 22 songs. So
yeah, and I really struggled to come up with bands for this because there are a lot of parody bands that I like, but like I don't really like their songs.
Yeah. Like I like all these songs that were featured tonight. It's like I might just listen to them on their own. Another one I thought you might pick was Blues Hammer. Just because Blues Hammer is kind of funny. The whole bit is like kind of funny.
Yeah, that was Ghost World. Yeah. Yeah. No, they were like crappy on purpose. Like not good. So this next band is kind of the premier. They're like if Iron Maiden is to Nawabum what this band is, or like Metallica is to thrash metal, or these guys are kind of the premier band of this metal genre, which is symphonic, post-apocalyptic, reindeer grinding, Christ abusing, extreme war, pagan, Fennoscandian metal.
Okay.
Did you get that? Should I do that one more time?
And they're fictitious?
Yeah. So this is Impaled Rectum with Flooding Secretion from the movie Heavy Trip.
Wilhelm scream.
Yep. Yeah, so if you've never seen the movie Heavy Trip, it's pretty awesome. And I don't think Heavier Trip is out in the US for streaming, but there's a sequel out this last year.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of puking, but
well, yeah, neither am I. But it's not like a schizo thing.
Yeah,
it's the singer has like crippling stage fright.
Oh, okay.
So that's why.
Yeah, it's kind of gross.
It's super gross. Like the dude who gets puked on is all into it. It's like, because rule. Yeah, it's a pretty funny movie. Yeah, have you heard Brian Posehn's band Posehn?
I've heard Metal by Numbers. I haven't heard Grandpa Metal.
Yeah, Grandpa Metal's pretty good because I think his kid. So like Brian Posehn, his son is named Rhodes Posehn, and I think he started calling like the stuff Brian likes Grandpa Metal. Is that more Grandpa Metal? And so then Brian started calling, like he's friends with Scott Ian, So he started calling Scott Ian Grandpa Metal,
Uh-huh.
which I think is just beautiful. Like he's Santa Claus. He's like the heavy metal Santa Claus. Father Christmas.
Kind of is.
He's Grandpa Metal.
Pretty good.
Yeah, be silly, but
Yeah, I think we're kind of in that category too. Like people would think that one hits pretty close to home for the Hear Me Out Bro podcast, especially after
probably
hearing our other episodes.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to steer clear of the new music sucks vibe.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's not true, but
Right.
it is a little bit. It's easy for us gray beard, icy hot demographic to like,
The good old days.
yeah, I'd rather just listen to Megadeth.
Or The Clash.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, never ends.
Yep. Okay. So now the juices are flowing. Like I thought of this band before and I was on the fence about adding them. You familiar with Titanica?
No.
I don't think they actually have a video. I mean, they do, but I don't think they have a full video. So
What's their setup, their background?
they're Titanica. They're like one of the biggest heavy metal bands.
From a TV show or a movie? Or
It's from Mr. Show, Bob and Dave.
Okay.
Back in the day, back in the 90s. Yeah, so this is Titanica visiting a fan.
Oh man, so absurd.
It's really awful. But yeah. Or
Yeah.
Brian Posehn metal shenanigans. And then I guess the only like parody band that I actually listen to sometimes is Deathclaw,
Oh yeah.
which, everybody's pretty familiar with Deathclaw.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought you would have had them on the list.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see. But I don't know. We're on a metal thread, so
Yeah, it fits. Okay. I'm not going to add that one to the list.
yeah, if there's one thing I like less than vomiting, it's flashing lights.
Yeah, they don't usually bug me, but those were especially gnarly.
Yeah, that one's a little much, especially late at night.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the actual. I'll include the clip from the show. It's funnier. Yeah, so
Makes more sense now.
yeah. Like they're the biggest metal band. They're like the biggest entertainment thing of all time. And then just like they're all idiots. And wherever they go, just like disaster or something.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. But there's some pretty good like fictitious bands in the show too. Like Dr. Roxo was in a band. I forget the name of it. And then Pickles, the drummer, he was in a band called Snakes and Barrels. It was like a total Guns N' Roses kind of band.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Because they're like a super group. So like all of them have like
A musical past.
It's pretty funny.
Well, should we wrap this one up?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm sure we forgot some. I'm sure people have some of their pet favorites. So if you have some favorites, let us know. Shoot us an email or leave a comment on YouTube or Facebook and let us know who some of your favorite fictitious bands are. And next week, we're going to be closing out our Tinseltown Tune Time month by doing our favorite movie themes and soundtracks.
Yeah.
So it can either be like a soundtrack to a movie that's just got a bunch of great songs on it, or it can be like the theme from the movie.
Right.
Like kind of the theme music that, I don't know. There's a lot of movies where, you know, like the theme from Rocky or something like that, where the song becomes a thing.
Yeah, that should be fun.
Hope you had a few chuckles along the way with this episode, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Thanks for listening.
Checking out music with my bro. Will it dig it? Yes or no? Here we go on with the show. The Hell Bro Podcast.
Once there was a man whose prison was a chair. The man had a monkey. They made the strangest pair.
What kind of experiment was it, Jeff? What did you do to Ella? What did you do to me?
The man was the prisoner. The monkey held the key.
You want to be the boss now, is that it?
Stop it! No matter how he tried, the man couldn't flee. Locked in his prison, terrified and frail.
Jeff, what is it? Jeff, she's here! She's down here!
The monkey gaining power, keeping him in jail.
Ella, no.
Don't do it!
The man tried to keep the monkey from his brain, but every move he made became the monkey's gain.
Did you do that or did she?
She did it.
That's right. She did it.
The monkey ruled the man. It climbed inside his head. And now, as fate would have it, one of them is dead. Monkey Shines, an experiment in fear.